I am Mr. Wache. I'm at the lot, Kumatiega. Makatinenani, and such a beautiful sun shining day. Kaminenani, I've got 2 pairs of pants on, 2 pairs of socks, 4 layers of clothes and 2 sweaters on. And I'm still cold. And yet that is a problem we don't have to deal with on the equator. And yet this is the country that still feeds us. Why? We should be feeding America, not the other way around. Hey, kiki partner what you got gik moko ma fancy and 10 a.m. Here are my tools. I've already kind of gathered myself together. When I left, I'd just bought this vehicle. This vehicle was in a flood. And as you can see, it was thoroughly flooded. So I took out the computer and I left it to dry. Kawuno, adwatemane if it succeeded. Even if it succeeds, and body panels do I donate to this vehicle. Get this vehicle to Rengo on get anything wrong except body panels go. Could catch up a lot this morning. Pokadaka and load. I'm talking my bureau go echa. To ne oil leak mane boom tokane. Dine bed ni oil leak no. Burmutuche oil pan was pre-existing. Kane pok ajali ni otemore. To dine oil osechwer below that point mutuche no. Dine onge oil ye kama. Tenene ma otemre at the auction lot kumanyiewe emanga tutuche oil pan. Anyway, that's there for me to deal with. Mtoka mabiro go to ero. Pokada can load, kore ka pull up ka e. Manan. This was the collision. Anane no kogoyo, the lower control arm. Maybe abroad war of the shock tower. Frame to is intact. This is an XC90, the 3.2 liter that somebody traded in yesterday. As you can see, it's overheating, it's throwing up out of the reservoir. They bought another XC90 from me. I went and bought that XC90 from the auction that's been wrecked from the front. It's the XC90 V8. I plan on using the parts from there to fix this. For those who are wondering about washing under the engine bay, here it is, F80 2.5 turbo pressure washer and a hose, and you just wash. You want to be careful around here. Make sure that plant is tight before you spray that part. And make sure your cover on the feed box is on good. Other than that, feel free to wash the whole car. The cover on that computer box, make sure it's on good and covered. And then just wash. Eroge, a chopo. But the last 300 miles, alternator mam toka mariembone okethre about sapar gokinyi. Koro gimatimo en ni mtoka mang'eye ni ringo. Koro aketo jumper cable e battery ni, to battery mtoka ni e boot ng'eye kae. Achuone jumper cable. Kaka riembo machopo ot for the last 400 miles. Gi jumper cable kamano. The fuel cost, by the time I dock out, I will have $120 left in the bank. To Dalawa, to Jomoko Motio, the same thing, maybe more, will not have maybe $20 left in the bank at the end of the day. To teach Maduong Matio, and a bet kanyo, Ariambom Tokano, all day a biro, Okel Namara go kamano, the forklift no, Oketeka, a 2A. A walk a dog. Neno ng'ani ento dwa ting'o gi ariyo. Achiel elo sekete trailer, bas achiel oda chuoyo ng'e chien ka to kete macha koro ywa mtokni ariyo. Excuse me. An kaka tiyo kara mar tich dong ineno ka koro asekelo doli na aseikra, asegolo tol mar tweye. Tools ga gimoro amora matime mtokni gi ka tools man go kagi ok oromo timo to wan gi shida. Nyundo na jakero, handle mar jake basto power to nika magi eki the power tools. Computer mar laptop ma scan gi go bende ero. Mine is an XC90 that somebody traded in because they thought it was overheating. It was throwing up from the reservoir. It was pushing oil out of there. So they thought maybe it's the head gasket. And I'm pretty sure what has failed is the oil cooler. Specifically the gasket between the water and the oil. So it's letting oil into the water. And oil floats on top, so it was pushing the oil out. I want to fix it and put it back on the market. And I know it's my agenda for today. Now I have removed the intake. To remove the intake, it's not complicated except for the two bolts at the very bottom, two 8mm bolts at the very bottom. They can be reached once you jack the car up, you reach them from below with a short extension and get to it. Now we're at the oil cooler, and it looks like the original problem, if you can see against that thermostat housing and the block, it's leaking around there. So we need to replace the thermostat housing, or at least the O-ring on the thermostat housing. Best way to do it is replace the whole housing. It comes with a new temp sending unit, a new O-ring, and a new thermostat. Like that one I've got there ready to go. So what I'm after is this oil cooler. Now it's just separating it. I'm giving any more going. In the oil cooler, emo fail. It's, look at the oil from the engine is still black, still normal, but the one out of the cooler, it must change color. So in the oil cooler, it must fail, and it leaves a nice mess everywhere. Oh well, mess everywhere. So I need to go get a little gasoline, a Pongo radiator, and try to flush what oil is left in the radiator out. All that thermostat housing in their wheel. Do some cleanup and put it back together.